Hello again, football fans. We're already in week 8. I'm Aaron Schoonmaker along with sports editor Dan Spears. Dan, we're cruising right along. We're finally back to normal after the rains are gone. We had games up until Tuesday of this week. It's now Wednesday. Let's move on.
Thank goodness. All right, let's get back on the schedule, folks. Everybody is in conference play starting this week, which means that New Hanover County finally joins the party, and it's time for the Mideastern to get rolling.
Absolutely. So let's take a look at the Mideastern right now as we get into the games. After a winless season a year ago, Laney has surprised a host of high school fans in the area. Their combination of quarterback Mike Sheehan and wide receivers Tevin Clay and Ernest Andrews have them right in the thick of a Mideastern Conference as we enter conference play. Perhaps one of the biggest surprises is the slow start of Hoggard. At just 1-5, it is going to take a lot to get back into their state title form from a couple years ago, but as they start the conference portion of their schedule, the slate is essentially clean. Also looming in the middle of the conference are Rose and Ashley. Both teams have shown flashes of greatness and figure to be included in all conference discussions. They will open up against each other this week. And also this week, in a matchup that just might settle the conference champion, New Bern, who has given up just 53 points in 5 games, visits New Hanover, who has played arguably one of the toughest schedules in all of the state. It's the battle-tested versus the dominant and unbeaten. Looking at the standings as we enter conference play, it is hard to believe that the Hoggard Vikings are the lone team under the 500 mark, but at 93 points allowed, they are one of only 2 defenses that is giving up less than 20 points per game. What to expect from here on out? How about the unexpected? The Mideastern is a conference that could just as easily be settled in 3 weeks as it could on the final play of the regular season.
Like you said, Aaron, it's going to be probably one of the most interesting Mideastern Conference races in several years because we just don't know who's going to end up where at this point.
Right.
That means we're on to the prop box, folks. Again, 8 games every week for you pick 'em. You can find this week's picks at the blog at starnewsvarsity.com. We'll pick 5 games here. The 3 games you won't see here, you'll have to go to the website to see our picks. That's South Brunswick at South Columbus. That's the big showdown in the Waccamaw Conference. Also East Bladen at West Brunswick and East Columbus at West Columbus. That's the Three Rivers Conference opener that has the most interest here in town. That said, we go to the next 5. The latest attempt for somebody in the Tri-County Conference to try and topple Wallace Rose Hill. Lakewood takes a crack at them this week.
And Lakewood has just about as good a chance as anybody. They've given up just 21 points in the last 3 weeks. They are a hot team right now. But Wallace Rose Hill hasn't lost in over a calendar year. They've got an offense that is unstoppable. Dwan McKenzie, Omar Carr, they can go through even the hottest of teams. That said, they're not going to lose again this week. They're going to go Wallace Rose Hill.
Yep, I agree. I think so. I think Wallace has got this one in the bag. Next one, matchup of East Central Conference undefeateds. East Duplin being undefeated, not a surprise. Topsail being undefeated in the conference.
Right.
Very much a surprise. Nice job by Brian Davis and the Pirates over there.
And I tell you what, their defense has been playing just fantastic. You know, Topsail's defense has given up less than 2 touchdowns a game over the course of the year, and that's really what kept them in a lot of games because their offense isn't exactly running track meets. No. But East Duplin has given up even less than that. They've given up less than 11 points a game over the course of the year, and their defense, I think, is just a little too strong in this one. And I think East Duplin continues to roll in this one.
I think so. I think Topsail's starting to prove that they have got it figured out over there. But man, East Duplin, didn't allow Northside to score, and that's a fast team.
Yeah, two shutouts for them already this year. This might be a 10-7 game.
Yeah, very, very possible. Absolutely. Okay, now we're going to go into the Mideastern. We're going to pick all 3 games there, folks. First up, Rose at Ashley. Rampants 4-2. Screaming Eagles 3-3.
And they've played a really tough schedule, and they've really stepped up to a lot of challenges. The one thing, though, is Rose has just been out of this world. I like Rose in this one. We don't have anything for Rose, but pretend I chose something for Rose. We're going to go Rose.
Next game, we'll go stay in town for both of these. Hoggard 1-5. Hoggard 1-5. I can't believe I ever said that. At Laney 3-3. Bucks coming off a huge win against Lumberton, and then they got a bye week to rest up.
Right, and it's hard to really figure out Laney. They've played some really great games against that Lumberton team who we know is really good, and they come out and they score 50 points, but they've also been inconsistent at times. For Hoggard, I think this is a must-win game. They're scoring just about 11 points per game. I think their offense is going to show up this week, and I'm going to take Hoggard to win this one just simply because they have to.
That's a really tough pick. I think that's the most interesting game going on this week, just because both of those teams have been all over the place. We just don't know what we're going to see at this point.
Absolutely.
Last game, and this really could be the conference championship decider, and it's the first game. It's kind of crazy how the schedule worked out. New Bern, undefeated on the season at New Hanover.
And New Bern, if you look at their point differential on the year, they're scoring over 200. They've given up something like 50 points. Their defense is great. Their offense is great. But the strength of schedule I give to New Hanover in this one.
I agree.
And I think their challenges of playing these tougher teams, especially on the road at Scotland, what was a home game on the road at Richmond, I think their offense is ready for that. I think they're going to be able to score points. Montreal Sweet, Bates Taylor, and their defense will step up. I'm going to take New Hanover to win this one. And it's really going to set them up for the conference.
That is a tough pick. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of splits, and you pick them this week on that game.
Absolutely.
So let's go down to the rest of the schedule at this point. Like we said, the Mideastern, Rose at Ashley, Hoggard at Laney, New Bern at New Hanover. Aaron, take over from there.
Yeah, and then we get into the Waccamaw Conference. Like we said, the big game of the week, South Columbus at South Brunswick, a battle of unbeatens there. East Bladen at West Brunswick, West Bladen at North Brunswick. This one, Dan.
Oh, that's North Brunswick's mad, and they need the win. I don't think that one's going to be close. Even though West Bladen is playing a little bit better, they hung with South for a half last week.
Absolutely. Lakewood at Wallace Rose Hill, like we talked about. Pender at Midway. Pender looks to continue their dominance. Trask at James Keenan. This one could be a physical one. Trask needs to get healthy in that one.
Trask has to get healthy. That's the only chance. James Keenan has proved that it can put up points. And again, a team that's played two really good teams off the bat and lost a couple of really tough games.
Hopton looking to get back on track at Union. East Duplin is at Topsail, and East Columbus at West Columbus. And so there you have it. All the teams are in conference play now. We're getting into some games that are really going to mean a lot as we move on towards the end of the year. And Dan, give me your one big thing this week.
It's easy. South Brunswick, South Columbus, the next in a line of big games in the Waccamaw.
Absolutely, and that's a game that you can find our picks on the website on starnewsvarsity.com. Be sure to go to Star News Varsity for all your prep needs, scores, standings, our highlights from Wednesdays, from Fridays. Get everything you need there. Check it out, guys.